Hello and welcome back to another podcast and video from Fantasy Football Scout on Euro 2024 Fantasy. My name is Ed. You can find me on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it @_FantasyEd. Please do follow me. But as well, please do subscribe to the channel, put the notification bell on, leave a comment, smash the like button, all the sort of stuff YouTubers say. Please do that. Pretend I've said it and act accordingly. And do join our league, actually. That's a really good thing. So just below my head on Twitter, as you can see, there's the code. Not Twitter, YouTube, sorry. Not below my head on Twitter. I don't know what that would mean. On YouTube, see this code. Do join the league. There's also an auto-join link in the description. And if you're listening on podcast as well, just go to the description. The auto-join link will be there. Please do join that. About 3,000 people have joined that now. There's going to be prizes yet to be disclosed, but they're going to be good, I'm sure. Today, we're going to be joined by a really great mind of FPL and fantasy football and all that, FPL Pras. Some of you will have come across him. He's been on the official Fantasy Premier League show. He's been on Scout Lots. You know, he is a sort of guy, very clever, very good with strategy, very good with picks. So we're going to hear his team, what he's thinking at the moment, and also, slightly awkward point, he disagrees with my chip strategy. So we're going to, we're going to discuss that, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this video I'm just doing whatever he's doing because he's very, very good. But let's thrash that out and we'll work out whose is better, or we'll both just go for our own and we'll see who wins by the end. A shout out to our sponsors, FANTEAM. Thank you very much, FANTEAM. They are doing something amazing and exclusive for our listeners and watchers this summer. They have got a completely free game you can enter. The link is in the description. Completely free, no deposit required or anything like that. It's a free game, but there's a £2,000 prize pool. All you need to do is make a FanTeam account. £2,000 prize pool. And also, so I think it's the top 160 places are going to get paid. But also, every person who beats the Fantasy Football Scout team is going to win a free month's membership at Scout. So no reason not to join and all the upside. So go and do it. If you've never played it before, check out a How to Play FanTeam article, and that will be on our site. It's very similar to other fantasy games, just a few different quirks, different player prices, things like that, but you can work that out. So do, click the link, go and join the league, halfway through this video, actually, I'm going to quickly grab Gianni and bring him in and ask him what his top picks are, so you can listen out for that if you're trying to build your team. As always, please do gamble responsibly. It's an 18+ sort of thing, even though it's a free game. We just got to say that. But let's get going. Let's talk to Pras and let's thrash out who's got the best chip strategy. Let's go. So yes, I'm here with, as you can see, Pras FPL. Although this month it's not Pras FPL, is it? It's Pras Euro
Fantasy.
And he is with me today. Pras is a great guy. Met him a number of times. Lovely chap and a very strategic mind. So let's dig and dive in. But first of all, away from fantasy, Pras, are you looking forward to the Euros?
I'm very much looking forward to the Euros. I mean, we as England are tournament favorites for a change, and there's a lot of optimism. But just generally, I'm bored. I mean, FPL and Premier League has now been away, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And, my beloved Man United won the FA Cup. So now I'm just ready for football, ready for fantasy, ready for Euros.
Absolutely. And your beloved Man United won the FA Cup, which is very annoying as a Newcastle fan because it meant we didn't get any Europe at all.
Glad we got that in early.
Typified our season in the sort of luck we've had that Man City, the best team in the world, suddenly in the final, they were massive favourites and didn't win that. But anyway, well done, Man United. Congrats.
You didn't want to be in that Mickey Mouse European competition anyway. You'll have a good season regardless.
I know. But we could have actually won that. And Newcastle haven't won anything since 1969, so anything at the moment.
Fair enough. Did I mention we won something 2 weeks ago? No, sorry.
Anyway, thank you very much, Pras, for coming on. We're going to do a couple of things. As I mentioned in the intro, we're going to look at a bit of chip strategy, because I know that I posted my thoughts on Twitter and I've done a video and then you commented, and I also watched you guys on the FPL Wire, which is a fantastic show. They're doing some Euro fantasy content. Make sure you check them out on YouTube. I know you did a little segment on it, and they were both the chip strategies mentioned there by you and Late Riser, one of your co-hosts, was different to mine. So it's worth talking about. I do think, though, my caveat is, I actually think this is one of, usually there's a pretty clear strategy. I actually think there's pros and cons to quite maybe 2 or 3 of them. So we'll come on to that. In fact, let's do that now. So I'll just bring it up now. So on the screen, Pras, you won't be able to see it actually, will you? But I've just got a little thing that shows that the match days that, of course, our 2 chips can be played in there's only 5 of them, right? There's match day 2, there's match day 3, there's quarterfinals, there's semi-finals, and there's the final. That is because, just a reminder, viewers, that match day 1, you can't, of course, use a chip because you've got unlimited transfers anyway heading into that, and you can't can't use one of your chips. And then in the round of 16, everyone it's forced upon you a wild card. Even if you then make no changes, you have a wild card to play, so you can't play it then. And again, as a reminder, if you're suddenly popped up this video and you haven't thought about it yet, you get 2 chips in this game. You get a wild card, which is when you can take out all your players and replace them with all new players for free. There's no points deductions for that. And there is a limitless chip, which is a chip where you can change all your players for whoever you want, spend as much money as you want without the restraint of a £100 million budget. You can spend 200 million if you want, but then the match day after, it will revert back. So you only have that elite Galacticos team for one match day, and then it will revert back to whatever team you had beforehand. So there's been discussion to start this, and I'd love to, Pras, I'll come to you in a second. You can explain what your favoured chip strategy is at the moment and why. Just to say, traditionally, I know I said this in my chip strategy video for you guys that watch, but traditionally in these tournaments, the optimal strategy, if you didn't know anything else, is play them early. Play them in the group stage. That's happened lots of times before. Get rid of them match day 2, match day 3 for a couple of reasons. 1, all teams are in the competition, so you've got everyone to choose from. 2, there is usually a bigger discrepancy between teams playing each other because the weak teams might play the big teams, and you can there's more chance of getting those big hauls. And 3, it means you can start the tournament really, really well. You can start essentially with 4 fresh teams. Match day 1, you have a fresh team that you've picked. Match day 2, you play a chip, you've got another fresh team. Match day 3, you play a chip, you've got another fresh team. And then you get a free wild card. And match day 4, you've got a whole fresh team. So it's all very exciting. And it keeps you engaged.
Then your teams get disqualified, knocked out of the tournament, and you stop playing the game.
That's yes, exactly. Exactly. And that is the con to that strategy, is you suddenly then are in the quarterfinals. And if you've made a few bad calls in the round of 16, you've got no chips left to fix your team. And France and England have gone out, and you've only got 4 players left, and you've only got 5 free transfers, or whatever. 4 free transfers. Can't remember. But yes, Pras, tell us your chip strategy, and then I'll say mine, and then we can thrash it out.
Okay, so I think I do like the one that you mentioned, the template one, which most people gravitate towards. But I was just thinking that's going to be boring because a lot of people are going to pick the same team. Essentially, no matter how exciting it sounds of 4 fresh teams, it's going to be 4 template teams that a lot of people are going to go for. So what I was thinking was, this year, we don't have a lot of transfers between the round of 16 and the quarterfinals, because usually in the past we've had up to 5 transfers. This year, it's only 3. And the other thing is, there's a lot of good teams and some bad teams that will make the round of 16 as well, because as you know, 4 of the third place teams will also make the round of 16 in the group stages. So what I've been thinking is, can I carve out a way where I only use 1 chip, which is the limitless, in the group stages, and then I use my wild card in the quarterfinals, which effectively means that I make the round of 16 wildcard, or the game gives me unlimited transfers in round of 16, almost like a free hit, right? Because I know that I have a wildcard left. So I use that upside instead of in one of the match days, 2 or 3, I use that upside as a free hit in round of 16, and then I wildcard in the quarterfinals. Obviously, what I'm hoping for is there's a couple of tough draws in the round of 16. Let's say Germany play England, or France plays another good team. And then people are actually stuck because they don't have a wild card later. They'll either avoid players from France or, these tougher teams, or worst case, like you mentioned, these teams are eliminated. And then suddenly you're left with only dealing with your 3 free transfers on players that are actually knocked out for other players that are actually in the tournament.
And just to come in on that, I've said a few times, UCL. This balloon thing always happens. I don't know whether you can see that. I don't know why it happens.
Yeah, I can. Why does that happen?
I don't know, and I can't ever do it again. It's having like 4 or 5. It's a running theme to all my Euro fantasy content. Oh gosh, on audio podcast, they only ever hear me say it. Anyway, UCL fantasy is very similar to this game. In fact, it's almost identical to this game in terms of its rules. And this year, obviously, a lot of people expected PSG to go through. A lot of people expected Man City to go through at one point. Bayern Munich, all this sort of stuff. And Man City suddenly went out, and people had 6 Man City players or 5 Man City players, and it means you're stuffed, right? If something unexpected happens, it's really quite tricky to recover. So yeah, I'm just reiterating what you said, really, but carry on.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, in the Euros, unlike the World Cup, there are good teams like. And it's not like, it's completely unexpected if France are beaten by Denmark, and, things like that can happen. So I'm just taking a punt that I will be different to other teams in one of the match days. And then I will have an advantage if there are upsets or other things after quarterfinal. So that's the first thing. My chip strategy is wildcard quarterfinal. Now let's talk about limitless. Should we do it in match day 2 or match day 3? Number one issue, as we see the groups, are that there are some tougher games in match day 2. Some good teams play other good teams. And the number one issue in match day 3 is what happens if teams actually qualify, and if they have qualified, will they rotate? So you can see an argument where somebody will say, I actually need a chip for 2 and 3. I think that you definitely need a chip in match day 3, because I do think, even though FPL Discomfort, for example, made a point that teams will continue to play their best players, because there's a chance that they get to be top of the group, and if you're top of the group, you play the third place team from another group. There is a chance of that, but think about teams like Germany. Let's say if they win their first 2 games, I'm talking about marginal rotation. Like a Gundogan not playing, and some
And
Fulkrug.
Leroy Sane coming in for
Sane gets a
Musiala or
game. So
something.
it's
Yeah.
not like you've completely rotated the team, but your talisman, your players could be rotated still. So think about England. You could have a Saka and Palmer gets a game in the third one if they've won the first 2. So this is all very possible. Therefore, I really still think that match day 3 needs a chip. Now, if you're on your strategy, or sorry, the common strategy, you probably wildcard in that and play limitless in match day 2, because I get your argument. Limitless is supposed to be limitless. You're supposed to buy the most expensive people.
Mm.
Yes, you won't get that in match day 3, because let's say Ronaldo gets a rest, or you're expecting Ronaldo to get a rest, then Ramos is half the price. You don't need the limitless power as such. But in my strategy, I'm looking to play that limitless chip in match day 3. What I'm compromising is this ultimate power, the kryptonite for limitless.
Yeah.
But I do think that's a little bit of a trap, because you can get a lot of good players in this game and not sacrifice too much. So I do think you can still manage it. And then I will target teams from match day 1 and match day 2. They're basically teams that you'll see in my draft that have good fixtures in both those match days. So I will target 3 players from England, from Belgium, from Germany, and from Portugal. That's 12.
And
Plus add
potentially
an Mbappe.
France, yeah.
France, so Mbappe will definitely be there.
Mm.
Di Lorenzo will be there. That's my 14. And so I think that is a viable strategy, and that's what I'm thinking at the moment.
Okay, yeah. So for clarity, you're thinking of wildcard quarterfinals and limitless in 3, correct?
Correct.
So on the screen, I know you can't see it, but our viewers can. If you're listening on podcast, I've got the little limitless symbol next to match day 3 and wildcard next to quarterfinals for Pras, so you can just have that in your mind. Yeah. So look, I completely get that strategy, and I I like it. There's a sense that I like it, and obviously what it gives you is match day 3 is a fresh. You first of all, it's simple because you only pick, as you said, your initial team is for 2 match days, and you can forget everything else until you have more information. Like Late Riser said on the FPL Wire, this is proof I did actually watch it. I wasn't just flashing you. He said, by match day 3 you have a bucket of information, or by match day 2, but the further you go, the fuller your bucket is with information. Correct. The issue for me is match day 3 is how much information are we really gonna have? Because obviously we're going to see the first four teams worth of fixtures in match day 3, because match day 3 is different to match day 1 and 2 in that there's not just one opening game that plays and then the next. It's everyone from a group plays at the same time. So we'll see Germany's team, Scotland's team, Hungary's team, and Switzerland's team. None of them are really interesting, really, to see other than Germany. So you would know on Germany. But I just think, for me, that the rest, as you say, the thing that Drish really gets me, and this is typical of how I play and how you play the sensible way, really. But for me, the limitless chip is meant to be limitless. It's meant to be, you play it in the week where you can get the top players and have a real big chance of getting hauls. Match day 3 to play a limitless, it's basically you have turned it into just a free chip. A free hit, because it negates that power, and I know you know that, but that's just something.
Yeah, but only partially though. Like if you think about it, Portugal played Georgia, right, in match day 3. I'm gonna have Ronaldo in my team. So if you add the fact that Mbappe is not gonna get missed out, Kane's not miss out, then you've already got a Ronaldo, Kane, Mbappe limitless front line. Then you're talking about teams that have something to play for. Let's say Belgium have something to play for. You add a De Bruyne in there. You get to see the German midfielders. You add your Sanes. You add your Ritzes. So what I'm saying is, yes, you will not be the ultimate kryptonite, but you will definitely reach the 100 million barrier. And then again, another counter is when I will play my free hit round of 16, which is basically a wild card that the game gives you. I have 105 million budget. So I'm again...
And just for clarity, that's a free hit because you're playing your wild card in the quarterfinals.
Correct. So that again gives me 105 million budget to be a little bit more a little bit more risky with my picks only for round of 16. Like I wouldn't care about France if France have a difficult game. And so I could even go against an Mbappe and let's say play Portugal. Just an example. But then again, for my wild card, I have a 105 million budget where I can do anything else in the quarterfinal. So I think that budget thing applies throughout. But I do get your point that you're not really, really maximizing it.
Yeah, yeah, and I also just think there will be surprises that you can't guess in match day 3. So it's always going to be a risk, even if
Yeah.
you think they're probably going to play. It's just I just feel like that uncertainty and the potential to play a limitless and actually pick players who actually end up not playing is just too much for me to give up that limitless. So for me, people who are watching know that what I'm currently on is different. No one else has said this, by the way, so it's probably not very good. But
Let's talk about that.
yeah, no one else has said this strategy, but I did in my video and I did on Twitter, is picking my initial team for the group stages. You just mentioned the limitless front three of Mbappe, Kane, and Ronaldo. That's my front three anyway with my team. I know I don't have Lukaku, and that's the thing gnawing in the back of my head because he was top scoring, qualifying, and everything. And Belgium, have got a relatively good group. And anyway, so mine, I'll just drag them around here on screen, and you will be able to see if you're watching YouTube. I'm moving the limitless to the quarterfinals, and let's discuss that because that's might be an issue. And then the wild card to the semis. So I get to look at the semis, see who's there, and have a completely new team. I don't have any worries about teams going out because the round of 16 will be a free hit for me, like you, because
Yep.
I've got limitless coming next. Then I play the limitless. Then the issue could potentially be you go to semi-finals and you're back to a team of round of 16, and you think if half of them have gone out in trouble, well, no, I've got my wild card to kind of mop that up. So that in my head's quite neat. But whether it's effective, I don't know. Let's talk about that in a second. But it's neat because I can just look at my opening 3 games for each team and choose a team for those with my free transfers, 3 between each match day, and just do as well as I can without using a chip. When I get to that end of the group stage, a lot of people will have used at least 1 chip, and a lot of people would use 2. And hopefully I've still managed to maintain a bit of rank and do quite well. I'll have more information and then play that limitless in the quarterfinals. Now, talk to me, because limitless in quarterfinals isn't obviously ideal. There's only 8 teams, first of all. Second of all, in theory, they're all playing trickier opposition who've done well. So maybe a bit more unpredictable. But that doesn't, knockout football doesn't always mean less goals. Knockout football doesn't always mean. I mean, look at the semi-finals of the Champions League this year. Knockout football probably does mean less clean sheets, probably. But you can play appropriately. So what do you think? Limitless in the quarterfinals, is it mad?
So limitless in isolation in quarterfinals sounded a little odd because earlier you were thinking of wildcarding in the group stages, one of the wildcards. And so there it's very risky because you're picking your team of 16, playing limitless and reverting to that old team. So now in your newer plan, I do like it better, but I do. So there's a couple of flaws that I think or negatives. Number one, we're learning a lot, right? We're learning a lot about these teams in game week 1 and game week 2, I think. We're learning who's on penalties. Is it going to be Dalo who's going to start or Mendes? Is it going to be which German striker is on winger is going to be in form? So you are basically a little bit chipless in the group stages, and you're going to A, get all this new information, and then B, react in match day 3 to anyone who has different motivations, right? So it feels a little bit like you are hoping to get lucky or not getting unlucky. So if that team is great in match day 1 and it rolls you till match day 3 and it does well, superb. Then you're ahead of everybody. But if you're a little bit behind, then you've sort of committed yourself to this other chip strategy, or you'll have to change midway, basically after match day 1, if a lot of things are going wrong.
And I suppose when we're talking about chip strategy, everyone knows that if things become apparent, you can change your chip strategy. If I get to match day 2 and I get into match day 3 and it looks like, hey, managers are telling us who's going to be playing, and they're like suddenly you know who's going to play, then maybe, I mean, that completely negates the you might
It does.
not playing problem.
But I do think that we're having this chat now because your chip strategy should dictate at least 2-3 players in your 15 that are relating to your chip strategy. So I think in your chip strategy, Ed, you will have a lot of good bread and butter nailed picks, right? I mean, you're not going to go for the flair. Is he going to start? Is he not going to start? You're going to get guys like, very sensible guys like Szoboszlai. I've not seen your draft, by the way.
Yes.
Rodri, people
Yes.
are going to play,
They're both
will
in
be
it.
on set pieces. Exactly. So you will have to get that to say, I will rely on these guys no matter what. And that's fair. That's fine. I think the other negative on your strategy is the problem is when you are playing your chips, other people have 4, 5 transfers to catch up to you. So when they have 4 transfers to catch up to you, your exciting punts or picks, they're also getting. When they reach the semi-final, teams are converging, right? There's only so many teams you can pick from. So all the high upside picks, people will cover you because they will be making similar transfers. Whereas the upside picks in round match day 2 or match day 3, like a Ronaldo against Georgia, again, you will have him. But let's say Lukaku, you will have these upside picks in these rounds where if other people don't have them, you're the only one who gains from it. So I think yours is a reverse strategy of, if you were very lucky with your match day 1 team, you're going to win the thing. But if you're very unlucky, it's going
You
to be
heard it
very
here
bad.
first, everyone.
So that's how I would sort of
Yeah,
qualify
look,
your chip strategy.
that point there you make is a good one. I need to think about that. That when I'm going for my upside in the knockouts, people have got the 4-5, 3-4-5 transfers, or whatever, to pick the same players I'm going to be picking anyway. I suppose I'm hoping. I guess the dream scenario for my chip strategy, limitless quarterfinal, wildcards semi-final, is as you say, I pick a great team for the group stage. They keep up with everyone even though they're playing chips, because people are playing chips, moving off certain players who then do well still, all of that stuff. And then the round of 16 is unpredictable.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. And I guess that would work for yours as well, though, because you've got...
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm hoping for. And I do think that unlike the World Cup, and we saw upsets in the World Cup as well, by the way, and I'm comparing to the World Cup only because it's more recent. I know it isn't the same game.
Yeah.
That I just think in Euros there is a higher likelihood of upsets. I mean, you saw England, having an easy-ish semi-final and quarterfinals in the previous Euros as well, even in the World Cup. So there are opportunities, I do think, but you are hoping for some upsets, which I think is a reasonable sort of estimate.
Yeah, and look, I suppose the only difference between our two strategies is because we're both putting a chip in the knockouts. It is just you think limitless in match day 3 is going to work, and therefore that dictates yours. Because it's all about, I said this in my chip strategy video, the way to decide a chip strategy is where are you going to play your limitless. That's it.
Correct.
Once you've decided that, the wild card kind of places itself. If I'm going to play my limitless in quarterfinals, I kind of have to put my wild card in the semi-final. You're not going to do it anywhere else because it mops up the problem of if it's unpredictable. So I suppose for me, the only other two options for a limitless are match day 2 and match day 3. Match day 2, France have the hardest game, Holland have the hardest game, England have the hardest game. I think Spain have the hardest game, Italy have the hardest game. A lot of big nations.
But you say that too, just on that point, Ed. You say that, but for England's hardest game, are you not going to have Kane, even if you were playing limitless? For France's hardest game, are you not going to have Mbappe?
No,
I think people will still have
I will, but I'll have them anyway and not use the limitless.
Yeah, but what I mean is if people are talking about this original strategy you talked about, where they're going to free hit or limitless in match day 2, you're still going to have some of these popular picks. You might still have a Lukaku. You still might. So, these are the big hitters. So your gains will come in these peripheral 4-5 players that are maybe the 3rd, 4th, 5th defender, 4th, 5th midfielder. Now, they may go big, but they may not. So therefore, I don't see that big benefit of that limitless match day 2 as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I agree. And then it's just match day 3 that's left. So it's match day 3 or quarterfinal. So that's what it boils down to, essentially. My strategy or yours, and everyone else's is stupid.
Well, no, like you said, I think there's a lot of areas to go different, and I just generally think if everyone is doing something, this is a fun short tournament. Just do something that sort of strikes you first, and then be flexible, as you mentioned.
Absolutely, and I think that I think the only thing that will change for my strategy is if I just suddenly go after match day 1 or match day 2, or it just becomes clear that match day 3 is going to be simpler to predict who's going to be playing than not, then maybe I'll switch. But even at that point, I'm going to have picked a team for 3 matches. Okay, I've picked a team for 2 and I'll play the limits. It's not going to do too much. So okay, right. Look, that's really helpful and that's helped me think about it. I haven't quite changed my mind yet and the review, but I think that's hopefully, as you listen into that discussion at home on podcast or on YouTube, that's helped you kind of clarify the issues in your mind. And do comment below what you're thinking of doing. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. and going to talk about our sponsors for 2 or 3 minutes. We'll cut to that. I actually asked Gianni who his best fan team picks are for this free tournament that we've got going on, exclusive for us, completely free, no deposit required. You just need to sign up, £2,000 prize pool, and every single person who beats the Fantasy Football Scout team gets a free month's membership. So let's cut to that. Yes, so I'm here with Gianni. He's going to talk to us about his fan team for the Euros. First of all, Gianni, before we do that, you've played fan team for quite a while, haven't you? What do you like about it? It is a good game, isn't it?
Oh, mate, I've been playing fan team for years, and I've always had it alongside another game. So I've kind of played fan team alongside FPL for a long time. Or the last Euros, I only played fan team instead of the UEFA game.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm only going to go with one game, and fan team's kind of my game of choice. Like, I've always enjoyed the player prices in fan team. I always think they're really accurate. And again, I think if we're comparing prices this time round, like, you might argue fan team have done an amazing job with their prices, and perhaps more fair and accurate job. I also like its just originality, its ease, its convenience. Like, you're not worrying too much about any mid-game week chips or changes. It's very simple. There's one chip, it's a wild card. You use it once whenever you want. I love that, being able to use a wild card whenever you want. So yeah, mate, I'm looking forward to another round of fan team. And as always, there's one or two little nuggets. You get this in any fantasy game where you go, oh, in this version of the game, this player is only X, and therefore he's a must-have.
Let's look at your team. Here it is. So I'll just read it out for podcast listeners. You've got Lunin. Oh, this is on the pitch. You've got Lunin in goal, yep. DeMarco, Marla, and Hernandez at the back. That's Teo Hernandez. Bruno Fernandes, De Bruyne, Rafael Leao. Of course, you've got him. Wirtz and Mudryk in midfield. Up front, Mbappe and Skamaka. And then on the bench, Gunn in goal for Scotland. Broja for Albania, who's going to start up top for them. Walker and Mihaj. Is Mihaj Albanian? He's the Albanian fellow, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk us through. Talk us through it.
I was going to do a team of Serie A only players, and then I'm in it to win it, right? So I've gone there with it's the left back brigade, and again, we know fullbacks can really clock high points. And from the last Euros, if you played any Euros game in 2021, the fullbacks were gold. In fact, these three, well, it was Spinazzola instead of DeMarco, but Marla, Teo Hernandez, was loads of fullbacks just clocking big points. The midfield's exciting, and you get wide forwards like Rafa Leao, who maybe in the UEFA game is listed as a forward, just like Chiesa is. Well, here you can have him as a midfielder. And if he's going to start front three for Portugal at 8 million, yeah, you want a little bit of that. So, yeah, the likes of Mudryk, the talisman for Ukraine, is only 6 million. Love that price point for Ukraine, who I think will get out the group. I think Ukraine have got a good group.
And first game is against Romania, isn't it? So you back them there.
It's a good first game. And that's why so many have gone Lunin as well. And then, yeah, creators like Wirtz and Bruno and De Bruyne look really good. The really good find so far, if I was to pick one player in fan team that I just think could make a mockery of his price tag, we need to know he's going to be a starter, but I think he will be, and that is Skamaka. 6 million, Ed. 6 million for Italy's leading number 9 when they play Albania first. That could be a gift. Now, one thing Skamaka doesn't often do is play 90 for his club team. I think we'll see a lot of early subs. But even if he's getting 60, 70 minutes at 6 million, it could be a gift.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He had an amazing end of the season, didn't he? Just on prices as well, the Euro game, I noticed when I looked at fan team earlier, the Euro game's got Mittelstadt of 4 million. And everyone's gone, it's a bargain because he's going to start for Germany. Fan team already knew that because they've priced him at 6. Yeah. So fan team pricing's really accurate, but it's annoying as well because some of the bargains are gone.
It was harder.
They know their
Picking
stuff.
a fan team squad, I found challenging because even the likes of DeMarco, he is rightly 6 million. Well, in the UEFA game, he's 5. So it's tough. If you want to go with the same players, you might be a little bit tighter on funds in fan team. Now, you could go, that's annoying, can't get every player I want. Or you could go, that makes the game more difficult. And if it's more difficult, maybe that gives me an edge over others by doing a little bit more research.
Yeah, well, look, everyone watching, you can play this. Join our league for free, absolutely free. You can join it. Gianni's going to be in it. The Fantasy Football Scout team are going to be in it. And there's a £2,000 prize pool, as well as some Fantasy Football Scout memberships up for grabs. Please do go ahead and join it. Again, absolutely free. So make sure you do that. As always, please gamble responsibly and 18 plus. This is only for people 18 plus. But let's get back to the other video. Welcome back. Right. We are going to talk about Praz's team now. Is this your first draft? How many draft iterations have you had, Praz?
Honestly, I had one auto pick team, and then when you asked me for a draft, I've made this one based on what chip strategy I have now. So, obviously, caveat, it might change a lot based on friendlies and chip strategy changes and so on and so forth.
Of course, I'm just going to get rid of all this wildcard stuff on screen and bring up your team. So here it is. So I'll read it out for audio podcast listeners, and then you can talk us through it. I'm sure you've got it in front of you, and then I'll ask you some questions about your picks as we do normally. So you have got the same keeper as me. I think it's absolutely nuts to go without. At £5 million, he's underpriced. I don't know why Donnarumma and other keepers for other clubs who aren't favourites is 6 million, but Pickford's 5. Absolute no-brainer. Pickford in goal for you. Wout Fez, 4 million centre-back, 4 million defender. You don't need to say centre-back on this game. 4 million defender from Belgium. You've got Jonathan Tah. You've got Mittelstadt. The kind of hipster pick,
Lundstram of this game.
Yeah, DeMarco. You've got Shaqiri, love that. Gundogan, Saka, Lukaku, Kane, and Mbappe. And then on the bench here we've got Matt Sells, Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, and Mendes. So you have gone triple Portugal, but it's like again a hipster triple Portugal. It's not the Bruno, Ronaldo, Cancelo. It's Bruno, Vitinha, and Mendes. I love that.
I don't have a limitless, unfortunately.
Of course, it would be good to start with that, wouldn't it? All right, talk us through it, Praz.
Right. So the strategy is, as I mentioned, my team has a triple up from England. So in fact, let's talk about the teams first. So England, I've got Kane, Saka, and Pickford. Now this may change if Maguire is fit. So I do think Verbruggen at 4.5, who was actually announced to be nailed today, is also a good option. But in my chip strategy, Netherlands plays France in match day 2. So I'm not going to go for Netherlands players, and so therefore it's going to be an England defender. Could be Pickford, could be Maguire if he's fit. And then, so that's my 3 England. I don't see that changing unless there's some budget issue in which Saka needs to go down and I need to go double defense.
Can I ask about that? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had this discussion on one of my other videos. I think I was with Gianni or someone, I can't remember. But the question it was with Lewis. It was actually on the the audio podcast. I do the separate one, and we were talking about, is it better to go? You're going to have triple England. I mean, most people would. It'd be mad not to. Are you going to go 2 attack or 2 defense? And quite a lot of people are going to attack, and the 2 most popular seem to be Kane, obviously, and Saka, because he's going to start, and all the other attackers, you're not quite sure where they're going to play. Is Bellingham going to play?
And cheaper.
And cheaper, exactly. And then you've gone Pickford. My argument was, and what do you think of this, is that although I'd love to think England are going to score multiple goals, and Gareth Southgate is a manager who will go 2-0 up and then sit back and sort of, in tournaments anyway, he's a tournament manager, and he won't sort of go for the jugular. He'll just kind of make sure we win, right? So is a Pickford Maguire, which is what I've got, double defence, is that something you consider, or are you definitely going to go 2 attack?
No, I can consider that, because already I can see in today's Belgium friendly, Sells didn't start. Yeah. So if that keeper is not a keeper, then I need a third Belgian, and that could be Trossard instead of Saka, and then I add a Maguire. So I don't think it's terrible. You see, the problem is people have in their mind the Saka for Arsenal, the Bellingham for Real Madrid, and the Foden for Man City. They are not those players for England. No. It's the Kane show. These 3 are good players, but they're providers for Kane, not exactly goal scorers. Now, it could be way wrong, but based on what we know from England, what we've seen in the qualifiers, that's what it is. So they're good picks, but there are also other good picks as well. And I do know, and I mentioned this again on the podcast, Southgate is Southgate, right? He's going to be defense first. I agreed with you on the other pod as well that Gallagher will be the guy who starts. Gallagher, Rice, you've got a 4 at the back, all good defenders. I don't think it's a case of England will be safety first for sure. So I don't think double defense is bad at all.
Okay, good. Carry on with your team then.
So then we get to triple Germany. So here, ideally, again, budget not being an issue, I would have gone for double German attack, because I do think their fixtures in the first couple of games, Scotland and Hungary, are there for the taking. But I can't get there. And I do think that with Mittelstadt and Tah, the value is so good at 8.5 million. So I'm just locking those 2 guys in. So then it comes down to who can I afford as my third. At the moment, I've got Gundogan. Maybe I change my mind and get a Musiala or a Ritz, and we'll see, or even a Havertz. But I doubt it. And so it's going to be probably going to be.
Problem with Havertz is he takes one of the forward slots, and it's just
that's the problem.
They're so valuable, aren't they, in this game? It's interesting. People who watch the videos will know my current captain for Match Day 1 is Scott McTominay, so we'll see how that goes. But carry on.
I mean, the good thing is you can sub those guys out and never have to think about it again.
Exactly, and you can.
That's the
And
beauty of this
I
game.
love this game because you can be so ridiculous with the captaincy early on, and if you
Yeah.
hit it, it's like But if you don't, you've got everything to fall back on. So
Correct,
yeah.
correct, correct. So that's my Germany. So that's England and Germany. Then three, Belgium is giving me problems because I think Faes and Lukaku are fairly nailed, even though in the friendly tonight, and I should say today is Wednesday,
Hmm.
just to timestamp it. So Lukaku wasn't even in the squad, but apparently he has been traveling because he's signing for Napoli, and so that's why he wasn't in the squad. So watching for that. If he is fit, he is 100% in there because Belgium, in my chip strategy, are almost essential because their two good games are Slovakia and Romania. Those are the two good games for Belgium. I'm getting Lukaku for those two games. And that's my upside where Lukaku then becomes a Ronaldo in match day three. When I play limitless. So as it looks like, Faes and Lukaku will be the two. The third Belgian is up for grabs. It could be their keeper who started today, whose name I don't know, and it could be Trossard. I think it's or even Doku. So it's one of those three, but they will be a third Belgian.
Problem with Doku again, he's a forward in the game.
Yeah. Oh, is he a forward? Okay. So
Yeah,
then it's going
so
to be Trossard.
they've
It's
put a
going to be
lot of
Trossard.
these. They've kind of almost removed quite a few players from the game as viable picks because they're forwards in the game when they shouldn't be really. But
People who say in FPL, Salah, Fodens, you need to be forwards, need to remember this. You won't
yes,
be able to pick them if they're
yes,
forwards.
exactly. Yeah, sorry, carry on. Yeah, so sorry on that. I mean, Lukaku obviously broke the record for the amount of goals in qualifying, 14. Yeah, I mean, he's the one who's not in my team. And if I do swap, it'll be Ronaldo coming out because you can cover Portugal with Bruno Fernandes and Cancelo. Or I can see you've got triple Portugal there, which
Correct.
you'd have to amend triple Portugal to bring in Ronaldo for match day 3, I assume. Who would you
Well,
bring
it'll be
out?
limitless, so the whole thing will be amended. So yes,
Of
it'll
course it will.
probably
Sorry.
be completely different. Yeah, but yes. So that's my three Belgium, and then I get to triple Portugal, where I am a little bit confused. So Bruno is locked for sure. I think Vitinha also looks very good as a midfield pick. I mean, he's not the same flair pick like a Szoboszlai with
Mm.
with set pieces, or even I would say a Rodri. But I think in my chip strategy, as I said, Portugal excellent two fixtures. The first or the next two, which is Czech Republic and Turkey. Now Turkey is okay, but I do like them as a triple up. I would love to have Cancelo as my third defender. He's just a million more than Mendes.
Mm.
The problem with Mendes is it could be him or Dallo, and depending on which one it is, Cancelo could play on the right or on the left. So if Mendes is good, I think for 5 million he's great option, and that would be my third. But if Mendes is a problem and in the next fixture Dallo starts, I will be confused, and I think I will make way and find a way to get Cancelo as my third pick.
The Cancelo, sorry, is one that I'm definitely wanting to fit in. I love Portugal. I think they scored the second most goals or the first most goals, but it was them and France at the top. I can't remember
Yeah,
which way around.
but very easy group as a caveat.
Yeah, absolutely. Always got to look at that. But still, Ronaldo got 10 goals. I know Fernandez got 6. Cancelo got 3. Cancelo, sorry, I keep saying Cancelo. It's Cancelo, isn't it?
Whatever the walkway or whatever
Yeah,
the,
I had someone
the
comment on the
Holland
video
Haaland.
who was Portuguese and said it's Cancelo, so I've got to say Cancelo.
Okay.
But yeah, no, look, triple Portugal is probably something I'm going to be considering as well. Bruno Fernandes, what a player. And Vitinha, just comment on him. I mean, in UCL Fantasy, which is the same scoring system and everything of this game with ball recoveries and everything, Vitinha was really good towards the end of last season, got a couple of goals. Good pick, I imagine. But yeah, so triple Portugal. Okay, carry on.
So that's basically my 4 teams with the triple ups. That's 12 players.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to who else fills up the team. So I've got Shaqiri in there. It's really a punt. I mean, he's the same price as Rodri, right? I can easily go for the simple Rodri pick, but then the problem is Spain play Italy in match day 2. So I don't like that. And I'm okay to go against Rodri. I don't like the guy anyway.
We've got a Man United fan here, everyone, which is why Bruno was a lock.
Yes.
Ronaldo's coming in and Rodri's not in, that's why.
I'm thinking about McTominay as well. So that he's also 6.5, of course. But again, McTominay's problem is he plays Germany. Now, if you're captaining him, maybe I can think about him as well. So that 6.5 slot is a little bit, a flare pick from anything. And Shaqiri looked good in the friendly a couple of days ago. And Switzerland actually a team that have got good two fixtures, Hungary and Scotland, as their first two. So again, aligns with my chip strategy.
And I think he's on pens as well.
I've got DeMarco.
I think he's on penalties, Shaqiri.
Shaqiri?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, I think it's a nice way to sort of go against the Rodris of this world. And then I've got DeMarco. I just think he's super value. Plays Georgia. That's a nailed-on clean sheet. And now that I've said that, it won't happen. But I just think Italy defense you can't go against.
Plays
Even if,
Albania, you mean? Sorry, Albania, not
sorry, yes,
Georgia.
he does
Yeah.
play Albania, and then he plays Spain, which isn't ideal, but an Italian defender is fine in any case. So what have I missed? I think that's
it. No,
all.
I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, DeMarco, just on him. We keep saying it. You've got two really great potential left wing back, right wing back, or left back and right back. Probably left wing back, right wing back for Italy. One's 5 million, one's 5.5. Go for the 5 million one. DeMarco is the one to go for.
Correct.
If you had randomly had 0.5 at the end and you went, I don't know what to spend on, go for Di Lorenzo, and then you'll be a bit different. But yeah, I think DeMarco is the obvious one.
And actually, the non-triple up, the one I missed was Mbappe. Obviously, I'm happy to have him, as most people are, even with my chip strategy. So even the fact that France play Netherlands in match day 2, that's fine. I'll still have Mbappe. So that's where I am.
Yeah, I mean, I've got in my draft at the moment Matt Sells as well because he's 4 million, and I think he's probably it was 50-50 anyway, and he might not be starting, which is going to be annoying because I'm probably going to have to find 0.5 somewhere to upgrade to a playing keeper. I don't know where, but no, look, I like it. I currently have only Mittelstadt from Germany. I think that Scotland-Germany fixture, that opening one's going to be tight. I think all these international teams in the first game usually just don't want to lose. I think Germany's form isn't great. I know they've changed manager and it's got better, but yeah. So I just, the thing for me is obviously Gundogan is probably the one I'd go for if I was, but I just don't know who's going to play for them. Like it's unclear. They haven't got one superstar. They haven't got a Kane or a Mbappe. Yeah, it's like Havertz, who can do well, but we know he can have anonymous games. We've got Wirtz, who is kind of playing on the left. I know he's had a great season at Bayer Leverkusen, but I just haven't seen him yet in a Germany shirt, really. I'm not confident of that. You've got Sane, who's probably going to be on the bench. You've got Musiala, who's obviously great, but who's the guy? And maybe it is Gundogan, because I think Gundogan's on pens, so maybe Gundogan's the one to go for. What do you think? Well, you obviously think.
Again, as I said, I think Wirtz is the guy. I mean, because of his flair, but you just don't know. But with your chip strategy, the problem is you're just going against a lot of German attack because people will keep seeing their lineups, keep playing chips, and keep getting the guy who's doing well. And if there's one standout that becomes really like gets a brace in match day 1, you're basically really up against it because you're not playing any chip in the first 3 weeks. So I do think getting some kind of a German attack, because you're going to get the information. Like if Gundogan isn't starting match day 2, you change him, you get someone else. So that is valuable to have just as access to information because you'll have access to their team sheets before every deadline.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I agree with everything you said. They're all minutes risks. But was it because they were friendlies, because they haven't played the qualifiers, or was it because that's how the coach likes to do things?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I think they're probably not less minutes risks. Just I don't know which one to pick. They're all much of a muchness. They're all really good.
Anyone could get a goal.
Anyone could get a goal. It's going to be shared around, and it sounds like Sane is going to be the one who's benched. But obviously, keep an eye on that. It sounds like it's going to be Musiala, Wirtz, Gundogan, and Havertz, and sort of Andrich and whoever the other guy is behind them. So yeah, I don't know on Germany. I just got an uneasy feeling. I know they're the hosts, and I know it's Germany, so they're always good. But at the moment, yeah, I've got no one, so maybe I need to bring
And they've got a good group as well, Ed. I mean, Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland, all easy-ish teams. I mean, Switzerland have been terrible. Scotland, okay. Hungary, okay.
Yeah.
Hungary,
Scotland could do something. I've got a feeling about them. This is my problem with Germany. It's doing weird things again. Scotland, I could imagine doing something, okay? And I know that's mad, but I just got a gut, and I'm one of these managers who's an idiot and goes with his gut quite a lot. So there you go. And Scott McTominay, in 8 qualifiers, he got 7 goals and 1 assist. I mean, for them, he's very good. As a Man United fan, I'm sure you know that.
He's still good in front of goal. He's good.
Yeah. Hungary, they are a solid team. Szoboszlai is in my draft, by the way. Everything goes through him. He takes every penalty, everything. He takes everything. I watched every goal they scored in qualifying because you can do that on the UEFA website, and just everything flows through him. They look pretty decent. And remember, Euro 2020, everyone thought they'd get blown away by Germany. They didn't. They drew. Everyone thought they'd get blown away by France. They didn't. They drew. And then Portugal did blow them away 3-0. But they're not a Romania. They're just not. So they got them. And then who's the other one? Switzerland. I mean, Switzerland. Obviously Germany are the favourites, but they've got players. They could kind of come together. So I don't know. Yeah, I probably need to get a Germany attacker. I don't know who it's going to be though, but. Yeah. Look, is there anything else to say on your draft, or should we leave it there? Are you how much do you think this will change before deadline in 12
So
days or whatever it is?
the more
9 days.
podcasts I do, the more I'm getting committed to MD1, MD2, or wildcard quarterfinals.
Okay.
And the more I'm committed to that, it is going to be triple ups from these 4 teams. The question is which triple ups. If Cancelo becomes interesting, Trossard becomes interesting, if I like double England defense, that's all that will change. I think in terms of principle of what I'm trying to do, I think that's where I'll be.
Okay, great. Well, look, Pras, thank you very, very much for coming on. It's been amazing to see your team. Thank you for that. And thank you for your food for thought with chip strategy and picks and everything like that. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you everyone for watching. Please do like the YouTube and subscribe and click all the things you're meant to click and do all the things you're meant to do. You'll know what they are. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. See you.